Hello and welcome back with me, Admiral. Joining me back on Star Trek Fleet Command as always. So what we're going to do today's video is we are going to go through the new officers that we have access to. I believe there's 7 new officers. We are going to go through them and their abilities. So this might be a little bit longer than normal video, hopefully not too long, but we're going to go through all the officers and then I'm going to tell you which officers that I recommend you should probably go for. I did do a lot of this in the stream I did yesterday, and got quite a few opinions of other people as well, and pretty much everyone sort of agreed somewhat with me with some of the officers. There is some certain perks with some of them, and then obviously there's some downfalls and sort of maybe not so, or we'll have to see how they sort of run out. But I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Don't forget to keep hitting that subscribe button and following the channel. It helps me out massively. And don't forget to head over to Twitch as well and hit the follow button over there also. But yeah, going into this video. So the first officer we're going to come to, which is a common officer, it's going to be Sasha. She is obviously part of Mud's company. All of these officers also are part of Mud's company. But yeah, so the first one is Sasha. So she has 2 abilities, obviously. She has the captain ability, always on guard. So this, if the opponent is eclipsed hostile, this includes armada targets, and that is pretty much the same theme throughout most of these. It also includes armada targets, pretty much most of them. Sasha has a 20% chance to reduce opponent's critical hit chance by 15%. That's actually quite a decent ability to have, especially against armadas and stuff like that, because one person can obviously run that crew or the hair as a captain, and then everyone else will get that bonus. I presume there's no testing that's been done on this yet, but I'm going to guess it's like some of the other officers where it mitigates all of that type of work. So she's actually probably quite decent as an officer if you're going to run one crew on armadas or something. And then you got Intimidation, which is for the first 3 rounds of combat when fighting eclipse hostile. Sasha increases the critical damage bonus of the ship by 20%. This is an okay move if you're going against lower, sort of weaker targets. It's not too bad because it only lasts for 3 rounds. But overall, anything that lasts for a specific number of rounds, I try and avoid, just because I feel like they're not as useful, especially against armada targets, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to last obviously multiple, like a lot of rounds, comparison to obviously just 3. So moving on. So then we have I'm going to call him Tizer. I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it, but I'm going to call it Tizer. And then you've got Security Breach, which I personally don't like. When fighting eclipse hostiles for the first 3 rounds, Tizer decreases the shield mitigation of the opponent by 4%, which I think is quite pitiful. And again, it only lasts for 3 rounds. And then he has technology as well. When fighting eclipse hostiles, Tizer has a 35% chance to increase shield deflection, armor dodge by 100% of the for the whole combat. That is not a bad secondary ability. 35% probably be able to get that higher as well. So that is not necessarily a bad secondary ability to have as an officer ability. So you definitely wouldn't run him as your captain. He's definitely going to be an officer ability, a sort of role. Moving on, we're going to go to our first uncommon now, which is called Goon. He has obviously the grizzled veteran. So when fighting hostiles, Goon increases the chance of dealing a critical hit by 20% for the first round of combat. Again, only lasts for 1 round, and 20% is pretty damn low. So again, I wouldn't use him as a captain. He's pretty useless in that role. You can use him as a military trainer as well. So Goon increases the XP, ship XP gained by the ship for fighting by 15%. So if you wanted to, you could obviously pair him up with the likes of Pike as an officer ability, because obviously Pike's secondary ability is also ship XP, so that'll boost onto that as well. Therefore, you'll be obviously gain ship XP pretty damn fast. But again, I probably wouldn't go for him straight away. It doesn't seem to be worth it either. And then we're going on to the rare officers. So we have 2 different rare officers. We got, I'm going to call her Romud. Again, if I'm pronouncing this wrong, then I do apologize in advance, but I'm going to go with Ro. So we have Endless Ambition. So Ro increases her stats by 50% when she is the captain. This is obviously to do with the stats of attack, defense, and health. Whether that I don't know how well that's going to pan out, so we'll have to see on testing on that one. But her secondary ability, which is Fatal Charm, I personally think is not necessarily a bad ability. This pretty good one to have. At the start of combat, Rue has a 20% chance of increasing the damage dealt by a ship by 300% of the total attack of all officers on the ship for the whole combat. So that is not bad, to be fair. That's actually quite a good ability. And again, this 20% will go up, obviously, once you start leveling up her. And then, obviously, it'll start popping even more and more. And then 300% boost of the total attack. So as long as you can get the attack really, really high on the ship, then that'll actually be really, really good. And because that's quite a big bonus. So I do recommend getting Rue. She's definitely someone that I would recommend to use for that secondary officer ability. Then we move on to the second rare, which is Avix. So her her captain's ability, which is, however you say that, precision, whatever you say. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It's just whatever precision it is. When fighting Eclipse hostiles for the first 3 rounds, she increases the chance of critical hit by 20%. Again, because this is a round basis, I don't really warrant them as such. We'll have to see how it pans out overall against the Eclipse targets, and especially the Armadas, where you'll last obviously numerous rounds against them rather than just a couple of rounds. So we'll have to see how they pan out. But again, I don't really rate these 3-round sort of things. But other than that, the ability is not too bad. Just the 3-round lets it down. And then her officer ability is the shield remodulation. Is when fighting Eclipse hostiles, she has a 25% chance to decrease the shield deflection, armor, and dodge of the opponent by 40%. Again, I don't feel like that bonus is big enough. I feel like that would be better if it was maybe up to like the 60s, maybe even like 75%. That would be probably worth it, considering how low the initial chances. It's only going to pop 1 in 4 chance. So, and like to get a 40% reduction, I don't personally feel is worth it. So again, this is someone else that I would probably not go for straight away. And we'd try and go for probably Rue in this case. It's just out of the rare officers, I would probably go for her. So then we're going to come on to, we'll skip him because we've had him before, I just don't have him yet. We're going to come on to the 2 epic officers. This is the officer that I am really, really excited about. This is the officer that I believe could partner well with a few officers I'll talk about in a second, and I think her ability will go really, really well. So her officer ability, or captain's maneuver should I say, is Opportunist. So when the ship takes shield health damage, dice increases the damage of the weapons by 10%. Okay, that ability in itself is absolutely amazing, because obviously everyone's going to take health or shield damage, shield health damage on every round. So that is a really, really good maneuver. So I would definitely recommend that captain's maneuver. And then her second one, which is Delta Quadrant Technology. This is an ability that basically allows her to bounce from using the Opportunist to this to then back again. So when the shields are depleted, dice has a 35% chance to heal the shield health by 5%. Okay, that is incredible as well. The 5% not so much, but to be able to regenerate the health to then allow the shields to get hit again, which then further increases your damage by the weapons by 10%. So that will bounce off each other. So that is a really, really good ability. And if the 10% stacks, which I'm not entirely sure yet, because obviously no one's got her yet, so we need to do some testing on this. But if that 10% stacks on top of each other, like some of our officers do, then that'll obviously be very, very an insanely powerful ability. Especially as well, which is what I'm going to come on to now. I would partner her with, I looked into her a little bit yesterday, but I would personally, because of that shield ability, I would partner, if you don't have an Enterprise, I would partner her with Spock and Kirk, using her as the captain. The reason I would partner them two is because obviously every time you pop morale, especially with obviously Spock's ability is obviously regen the shields as much as possible, obviously a certain percentage. When morale's popped, and obviously if you use Kirk, then obviously you're going to pop morale as well. So I would personally use her as captain, use your obviously epic Kirk, and then use your rare Spock. And then the shields are going to regenerate as much as possible. And then this opportunist ability is going to keep popping constantly. And like I say, if it does stack, then some of the weapon damage that you're going to be able to get out of her ability is going to be absolutely insane. So I definitely recommend going for her as your first rogue officer if you can go for her during this arc. Very, very good ability there. And then moving on, we got the older Fenton Mudd. So we got Mudd, but he's obviously an older character. I personally don't think his abilities are great, but we will go through them. So it's 2 steps ahead. So Mudd has a 40% chance of to raise shield mitigation to 98% for the first 2 rounds. Again, the 40% is not too bad, the 98% is not too bad, but because it only lasts for 2 rounds, I don't feel like this ability is that good personally. Obviously, people test it and it does work out quite well, then please do feel free to let me know. But I personally don't think it's going to work out too well. And then you've got the second one, which is the 823 ways to die. So this one is Mudd has a 20% chance to double the shots of all the weapons on the ship for the first round of combat. So this will work well if you have like the Stellar, because the Stellar obviously has double shots anyway. So if you're double shooting with the Stellar, then the first round of shooting, you're not just going to double shoot, but you're going to quadruple shoot essentially. So you'll have 4 shots per weapon. So this could work well. But the only problem with this is it only lasts for the first round, and you only get a 20% chance of it going. So that's 1 in 5 chance. So the likelihood of it going off in combat is not very high. Therefore, I personally don't rate him too highly. The best officer to come out of this has got to be Dice. She definitely has the best ability, especially when you partner her with the Opportunist. Especially you partner that ability with Spock's ability and Kirk's ability. So when you look at the Spock's ability, as everyone already knows, you got Illogical. While ship has morale, which is why you use Kirk, Spock restores shield health to an amount equal to whatever this is, depending on your level of the defense of all the officers on the ship. So this is why this ability will work hand in hand with her ability, or it certainly should do. I don't know whether that was the intent. It clearly wasn't, because they're not obviously in the same crew, but it definitely seems like it'll work hand in hand, because once he restores the shields to whatever percentage, this essentially captain's maneuver is just gonna constantly keep going off, and she should be able to stack a lot of damage from the weapons by 10, like I say, by 10% each round. So you should be able to stack a hell of a lot of weapon damage on that. So yeah, that's the officer overview. Hope this video is useful to everyone. If anyone has any other opinions on the officers, please do let me know in the comment section below, and please let me know if I'm reading these wrong, and do inform me if I am reading them wrong or in some way. But I've literally just read it to you and what my thoughts are initially, but Dice seems to be the best one to go for. So yeah, please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, hit the like button and leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.